What's up everyone, internet? Thank you for making this video party. I'm so excited to upload one for you guys because Disney Plus has uploaded the 5th episode of the final season of Star Wars The Clone Wars, and today we're going to be taking a look at episode 5, Gone with the Trace. So episode 5 is the episode I have been waiting a long time for because it is the return of one of my favorite Star Wars characters of all time. It's Ahsoka Tano. While I did enjoy the Bad Batch arc, for me, I wasn't really much of a clone fan because my favorite Star Wars faction in that universe was always the Jedi, which makes this episode so enjoyable because when season 5 of Star Wars The Clone Wars ended back in 2013, one of the things that I really wanted to know was what happened to Ahsoka after she left the Jedi Order. Fast forward 2 years after the series was canceled, my prayers were finally answered when I watched the season finale of Star Wars Rebels and learned, spoiler, Ahsoka survived Order 66. And so now with this series making a triumphant return, we're finally getting to see Ahsoka's story finally play out in the final moments of the Clone Wars. So episode 5 takes place a few years after Ahsoka walked away from the Jedi Order, and we finally get to see what she's been up to since then. Because she's lived in the Jedi Temple her whole life, it's been a bit of a struggle for her to adjust to life outside the Jedi Order. First example is money. Throughout the whole series, Ahsoka never really had a problem with getting what she needed. If she needed parts to repair either a droid, speeder, or ship, all she had to do was just ask. But because she's no longer a Jedi, she needs money in order to survive in the lower levels of Coruscant. And as fate would have it, she runs into two mechanics who are almost like her, Trace and Rafa. Emphasis on the word almost. Also, is it just me or does Rafa look a little bit like Sombra from Overwatch? Anyway, I say almost because while they are generally good people who are just trying to make a living in order to leave Coruscant, they sometimes don't share the same moral code as Ahsoka and will often bend the rules a little right in front of her. Which is cool to see when you watch all three of them argue with one another because even though Ahsoka is no longer a Jedi, she still remembers all the moral lessons she's learned from them. Also, one of the things I really liked about this episode is that Ahsoka gets to see how other people perceive the Jedi. Because for Ahsoka, she sees the Jedi as just peacekeepers trying to end this war. But to Trace and Rafa, they only see the Jedi as only military generals who are slowly becoming warmongers fighting for a corrupt republic. And at that moment, I remember at the end of season 5, a Jedi called Barriss Offee said the exact same things after she bombed the Jedi Temple. And watching Ahsoka hear those words come from someone else's mouth, I think for a brief moment in time, she must have seen some sort of truth in Barriss's words. Another thing I really liked about this episode is Ahsoka's insecurity. After all that she had been through in season 5, she's very hesitant in trusting people. And after hearing Trace and Rafa talk about the Jedi, I can understand why she won't tell her new friends the fact that she was once a Jedi. But as the episode goes on, you see bits of her Jedi past slowly reveal, whether it's her unbelievable knowledge in mechanics and droids, her fighting skills, or her knowledge in the Force. Let me expand on that even more. Throughout the episode, she's been trying to hide the fact that she was once a Jedi, but for one brief moment, her cover is slightly blown when she has to save her new friend. It almost reminded me of X-Men Apocalypse when Magneto blew his cover after saving a worker from dying at a steel mill. Which makes me believe that at some point, her new friends are going to find out who Ahsoka really was. In the words of the great Patrick Star, "The truth will be revealed!" Anyway guys, that's going to do it for this video. That was my overall review for the 5th episode of the final season of Star Wars The Clone Wars. If you like what you saw, click the subscribe button so you get all these updates from this channel. I'll see you next time with a brand new video. Bye bye.